10 places to visit in Brazil. The largest country in South America, Brazil occupies almost half the continent. Nearly all of it is in the southern hemisphere, and much of it is tropical, with vast stretches of rainforest filled with exotic plants and wildlife. Brazil's 7,400-kilometer Atlantic coast is lined with golden sand beaches, and its interior is filled with mineral resources. Gold from Brazil's mines still lines the churches of Portugal, the colonial power that ruled Brazil until 1822. This strong Portuguese influence is evident in Brazil's colonial architecture, in decorative art such as the glazed tiles in its churches and convents, and in the language. So here is the top 10 places to visit in Brazil. 1. Cristo Redentor in Corcovado, Rio de Janeiro. With arms outstretched 28 meters, as if to encompass all of humanity, the colossal Art Deco statue of Christ, called Cristo Redentor, gazes out over Rio de Janeiro and the bay from the summit of Corcovado. The 709-meter height on which it stands is part of the Tijuca National Park, and a rack railway climbs 3.5 kilometers to its top, where a broad plaza surrounds the statue. Completed in 1931, the 30-meter statue was the work of Polish-French sculptor Paul Landowski and Brazilian engineer Heitor da Silva Costa, and is constructed of reinforced concrete and soapstone. 2. Sugar Loaf, Rio de Janeiro. The easily recognized emblem of Rio de Janeiro, the rounded rock peak of Sugar Loaf juts out of a tree-covered promontory, rising 394 meters above the beaches and city. Its summit is one of the first places to visit for tourists, for views of Rio and the harbor, and for the thrill of riding suspended in a cable car between Sugar Loaf and the Morro da Urca, a lower peak from which a second cableway connects to the city. 3. Iguaçu Falls. At the point where Brazil, Paraguay, and Argentina meet, the Iguaçu River drops spectacularly in a semicircle of 247 waterfalls that thunder down into the gorge below. Just above the falls, the river is constricted to 1/4 of its usual width, making the force of the water even stronger. Some of the falls are more than 100 meters high and they cover such a broad area that you'll never see all of them at once, but you do get the broadest panorama from the Brazilian side. 4. Copacabana, Rio de Janeiro. Downtown Rio's most fashionable and famous section follows Avenida Nossa Senhora de Copacabana and is bordered all along one side by 4 kilometers of white sand and breaking surf. The beach is separated from the buildings and traffic by a broad promenade paved in black and white mosaic in an undulating pattern reminiscent of streets in Lisbon, Portugal. 5. Carnaval, Rio de Janeiro. Few shows match Rio's pre-Lenten carnival extravaganza for color, sound, action, and exuberance. Make no mistake, this is not just another rowdy street party, but a carefully staged showpiece, where spectators can watch the parades of competing samba dancers from a purpose-built stadium designed by none other than Brazil's best-known architect, Oscar Niemeyer. 6. Ipanema. Beyond the beaches of Copacabana, the glorious white sands merge into the just as famous beaches of Ipanema. The same wave design of Copacabana's wide promenade continues here, separating the sand from the line of hotels, restaurants, cafes, art galleries, and cinemas that make this a popular social zone year-round. 7. Amazon rainforests. About 20 kilometers southeast of Manaus, the dark Rio Negro waters meet the light muddy water of the Rio Solimões, flowing side by side for about 6 kilometers before mixing as the Amazon. Boat trips from Manaus take you to this point, called Encontro das Águas, meeting of the waters. Other boat trips take you into the heart of the rainforests and the network of rivers, channels, and lakes formed by the 3 rivers. 8. Brasília's modernist architecture. Brazil's new city of Brasília was carved out of the wilderness and completed in less than 3 years to replace Rio de Janeiro as the country's capital in 1960. The ambitious plan by Lúcio Costa and Oscar Niemeyer became a showpiece of city planning and avant-garde architecture, and it remains today as one of the world's few cities that represent a completed plan and a single architectural concept. 9. Salvador's Pelourinho. The Cidade Alta of Brazil's former colonial capital has been named a UNESCO World Heritage Site for its exceptional collection of 17th and 18th century colonial buildings, the finest such ensemble in South America. Called the Pelourinho, this old quarter is where you'll find Salvador's most beautiful churches and monasteries, built at a time when Brazil was the source of Portugal's riches, and the plentiful gold was lavished on the colony's religious buildings. 10. Ouro Preto. The wealth of Brazil's state of Minas Gerais in its glory days of the colonial period is easy to imagine from the interiors of the churches in its old capital, Ouro Preto. Entire walls are washed in gold that flowed, along with diamonds, from the mines surrounding the city in the 17th and 18th centuries. Love to see more content like this? Hit the subscribe and bell button.